bracket finals. We have Suns fan here. You can call me Suns Phlegm for this cast, as we are joined by the Great Dane himself, Cinderin. Hello.
Hello. Wow, what a lead-in. What a lead-in to this series. Always love the pre-game interviews coming out from Blitz. There's always some spice there. Expecting, and it sounded like hoping for a 3-game series, and yeah, this is I love the edge that he has. He's like, yeah, we're just two boring teams playing the same stuff every time, and he's obviously just playing into what he's reading on Reddit, which is his second favorite thing to do, aside from being a coach, of course.
Yep, of course.
I think this is the type of game that the talk of the town after this game is going to be Clinks, right? It's the first pick of the entire tournament on this hero. Gaimin Gladiators pick it as their second overall hero.
Yeah, why so early?
That is my question that remains to be answered. I think part of it here is this must be a lane counter, that they consider this hero exceptionally good against Doom, that this was what they prepped. And of course, a little bit of an X factor that I have started looking for a lot when teams are picking Mirana is how can you get multiple cores that really benefit from Solar Flare. Clinks gets a ton of attack speed and damage from that Mirana, so does the Dragon Knight. So, you know the way Gaimin Gladiators usually like to peak around minute 20, it feels like Clinks is the type of hero that could do a ton with that Mirana.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the Clinks, we did see this in a few patches not too long ago. I'm going to talk with a little deeper voice. I've seen it gone through the second puberty of my life for whatever reason here, probably because of your presence. As actually Boxy is going to get gone on here. Celery, not able to finish the job though. But what kind of late game presence does this Clinks provide in this meta?
I don't think thinking about late game when you talk about Gaimin even makes sense.
That's true.
This is a
never
team,
even seen it.
I genuinely feel like the more I watch them draft, the less they care about scaling. It's not... Usually, honestly, in this tournament, the games that we've seen them lose is because they don't win by minute 30.
Yeah.
So that's always the timing that they're aiming for, and I'm curious to see how the Clinks plays into that. As I was saying yesterday when we were covering a game of theirs as well, is I think the way you prepare and you fight Gaimin Gladiators is that you prepare for the first 20 minutes of the game and what you're going to do there. And if you survive those 20 minutes and you know what, then you can think about what you want to do next. And I think this time around for the side of Liquid, you've got some really solid lanes and strong team fight. My main concern is, do you have enough damage? Because this is the issue that we've seen a lot of teams run into against a team like Gaimin, is you reach this 20-minute mark and they just can't kill them anymore.
Yeah.
Can Queen of Pain handle that with some pure damage? Can you handle it with just the Doom preventing Gaimin from healing? You can still put on the shields. We'll see if there's enough in the tank. And of course, potentially the highest teamfight damage output hero in the entire game right now is also on the side of Liquid with Mickey on the Windranger. But this hero is item dependent to get there. You kind of need that Gleipnir plus at least Crystallis, maybe even Daedalus, before it gets truly outrageous what damage you output. And that is not a common 20-minute inventory on that hero.
And of course, in this upper bracket, we'll be finding out what region goes on to the grand finals. Will it be EU or EU? And then in the lower bracket, EU or EU.
Yeah.
Very surprising stuff. I mean, these two teams are no strangers to each other. We have seen, I don't even know how many games, actually, but it usually is Gaimin that come on top.
Yeah, Liquid have had their number a little bit more this year than previous year, which I think is probably a little bit inspiring for them, so we have a tiny little pause here. Gives us time to think about this Treant versus Mirana situation, which they're fighting for each other over this Lotus pool. Tofu has the stun on to the Treant, so Tofu will definitely get this Lotus and then probably just leap away.
Buy that at the Dota 2 store right now. Very cheap. Is that the $5 or the $20?
That's a $5.
That's nice.
That's a good old $5.
That's good.
Hydrated. That's true. All right. So, yeah, that's exactly it. And Tofu does get the Lotus. It comes at a cost, though. He basically lost his entire health.
Celery. He's in a bit of trouble right now. This could be first blood, potentially. Boxy trying to finish the job. Around the trees he goes, though. Gets off the creep to try to block a bit. Actually gets the kill on the creep instead. And Celery into the trees. Boxy continuing to pursue, but in the cover the tier 1 should be okay.
Nice hero placement there from Celery, just standing in that tiny little cubby there, hiding off. There was enough mana on Boxy to use both spells if he used his 8 stick charges, so maybe they could have found a kill there. But instead, now 33 on the receiving end will be okay.
Bramble will hold them back. Everybody playing with such little HP in this lane right now.
If this is the first time you watch Clinkz this patch, by the way, don't be fooled. It does look like when he shoots tar bombs that he has this like huge cone. He does not. This is it's only hitting the target. 33 will be first blooded here, by the way.
And that's going to go to Dyrachyo of all heroes.
Was not accounting for the effectively blink with Death Pact there, getting on top of the Doom. So we were talking about this potential pick as a lane counter to Doom. So far, so good for Dyrachyo.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, with this current version of Clinkz, how fast does it come online? Obviously, it's going to be coming online with the rest of Gaimin's very fast-paced type lineup that we've been seeing so much of. But how fast would you say, like, what item? Like, the first 2 items, let's say, he's going with?
I mean, I'm assuming Gleipnir is the choice. And then the question is, do you actually buy your shard, or is that the second one? My frame of reference for this hero is a little bit lacking because we haven't had a single game of it all tournament. So, you know, sometimes you see the pub builds, but that's not actively what works in pro. Okay, nice pressure there onto Nisha from Quinn. Gonna force him back all the way between the towers. Now, Quinn's in a little bit of a compromised position, but nobody's coming in inside of Liquid. He's just running him down here. It's gonna force another blink.
Wow.
Really bullying Nisha here.
Actually go back to base, too.
He's losing a full wave in his own tower.
Yeah,
that is
really
a
bad.
major loss. Quinn will be hitting level 6 quite much earlier as a result. We'll see if he can keep putting some pressure onto that tower with that. Of course, the dragon form. Quinn has opted for the Fire Dragon facet. I think it's the only one we've seen all tournament, bar 1 game of Green Dragon, dare I say.
Really? I don't remember that one.
And the reason I checked is if you're getting any faster than the red one, it's because you're playing mid and you're playing pace.
Or you misclicked.
Or you misclicked, of course. That may have happened once or twice this tournament. Sometimes you even forget to pick your facet.
That's right.
But
They would never admit
Make
it.
Big damage. We'll be okay, though.
Yep, this lane, Mickey sitting on 30 and 5 CS. And, I mean, Ace is also just having a great time this early game. That is one of the scariest propositions for Liquid, trying to shut down this Underlord. Quinn in his dragon form. It's the Dragon Tail off, continuing to harass the absolute living crap out of Nisha.
So we're down to 3rd health again, and this is perfect timing for Gaimin. So they have Siege Creep, Chen is coming in with 2 additional creeps, they have Tofu flanking from the right, and Quinn will keep tanking this tower as much as he can to keep the Siege Creep alive, just barely staying on the outskirts here of the radius. Needs to go in and take a hit here, we will. Liquid kind of have to respond to this. I feel like you can't just sacrifice this tower minute 6. They'll glyph for now. Let's see if the rotations are coming. Gaimin are keeping tabs on the support rotations here. 2 shard golems here able to throw out a couple stones onto Boxy.
Yeah.
But
They'll finally kill off the siege here, but yeah, half HP tower, and they use the fort. As Mickey already making a quick rotation to the top lane. Dyrachyo completely out of mana. You're going to see the leech seed on top of him as well. Pops the wand, but Shaq actually does not connect. Either way, uses the Death Pact blink to get out of arm's length, but it doesn't matter. Mickey finds him in the end. And meanwhile, mid lane,
they got
takes
Nisha.
out Nisha.
Yeah, that Dragon Tail arrow combo. A tail as old as time will get Gaimin Gladiators effectively an even trade, I suppose. I mean, Clinkz was the top net worth in the game, so I assume Liquid are somewhat okay with that. But going back to what we were talking about Gaimin Gladiators pacing in this game, if Queen of Pain has a bad start, I really worry for their ability to stop the ball when it's coming in 15-20 minutes. I think Nisha has a very important role to play that is largely down to a good Dagon timing and level 12. He really needs to get Sonic Wave up and running. So yeah.
Well, 33, one of the few players in this tournament center that has been able to find some success on this hero. A horrific win rate overall. Yeah,
it was funny how Doom did okay in the start. Then we got to playoffs, and he lost 8 games in a row. And then he started winning again. So it's like teams didn't give up on it. They made some adjustments. They figured out what to do to cover its weaknesses and how to play around it. And now in the later stage of the tournament, we've seen Doom doing quite a lot better. Dust onto Dyrachyo. He's also doomed.
Yeah, mildly inconvenienced, though, as the TP comes in. Quinn not able to save his comrade, as the Dark Rift is there from Ace, and 33 still pretty damn healthy. Pit of Malice applied to him into the Dragon Tail, so it's going to be a double root. As he is now surrounded, although iNsania is in the area, Accelerate flanking them from behind, and the Bramble is going to put this chase to an end. So they do get the position 1 from Liquid's Eye.
it really helps a lot for the Doom to make these plays that he has the level 2 living armor at his disposal out of iNsania. We've seen some games with Treant where the players aren't really opting for much focus on living armor early on in the draft, or early in the game, I should say. But in this strategy, it's very clear that this is Liquid's approach to not only defending their towers, but also enabling their heroes to go that little bit deeper. Bottom lane ace.
Shackle. You got the whirlwind effect as well. Dyrachyo makes his way over, though. The pit of mouse onto 2 as Nisha gets a sonic wave off, destroys Ace. And Dyrachyo will have to try to flank here. Try to get away in that skeleton walk.
Should be okay.
Looks to be fine.
So you got to say, so far so good for the side of Liquid. Many teams at this point, in some of the stompy games we've seen from Gaimin, with the type of lineup they're running here, this could have already, against other teams, been a 3K lead with 2 or 3 towers down.
I mean, is there a team that has played Gaimin more than Liquid in the last year?
Good question. They will lose their first one here, though. Quinn does manage to break through the living armor on the mid-tier 1. Quinn is eyeing up a fast blink. So we've been talking about potential damage issues for Liquid. What if we look at the other side? So Dragon Knight, not the highest damage output hero. Clinks will be going for the Deso first on Dyrachyo. I guess Solar Flare is always going to provide you with damage. Uh-oh, Tofu.
Yep, he looks to be likely, although he's actually going to be able to leap away. Nisha's the one in a lot of trouble. Dyrachyo actually gets the last hit there.
Do they have nice detection gank now for Boxy?
Boxy picks up the invis, blood grenade applied.
They have a sentry, Tofu.
Yep, puts down another one, and that's going to be the death of the support. So 2 quick kills for Gaimin Gladiators. A very back and forth affair so far in this game number 1.
And now the Queen of Pain and the Underlord neck and neck on net with again. So clear tiering here. 4 cores well ahead of the rest. I think for Gaimin, if they could choose for this to be the game state on those net worths specifically, I think they're happy to let Ace have a little bit of a slower start at the expense of the Quap.
And 33 here. Looking for his second Doom of the game. But not sure what he wants to go for here, Cinder. And typically you see the Midas at some point, but we'll be going for the Crimson, knowing that Gaimin are going to be pushing really hard.
Yeah, I wonder what he's doing next. Is this a dagger game? Maybe not. You have some somewhat reliable setups with the Brambles, with the Overgrowth potentially coming in from iNsania from the tree line. However, I think it's going to be so important for Liquid to Doom the Clinks in particular that he might have to get it. Since that is going to be the deciding factor in the fights.
We have the Dragon Tail opening. Nice gank as Mickey is killed immediately.
Yeah, Ace didn't even need to show up for that. They have so much damage just between their Mirana and DK, and that was without even having Solar Flare.
Yeah, Dyrachyo has the Desolator, so these buildings will melt. Tier 1 bot will be forted, but will only delay the inevitable, as this will go the Gaimin way. The question is, will that be reciprocated in the top lane?
Yeah, definitely. If you're the side of Liquid, you want to try to equalize the towers, open up somewhere else so that you don't fall too far behind in this first 20 minutes. The very classic Gaimin style is coming into effect. As we said earlier, not the stompiest early game they've had, but they still should be quite comfortable with the position they're in. Liquid will get that tower trade now, going away of 33, so that's a Crimson Guard complete in 300 gold. Uh-oh, not again. Mickey walks into an arrow.
The arrow hits. Do they have the damage? Centaur Stomp to follow. Is going to get the winner off along with the Whirlwind. iNsania is there for some moral support. Gets off the Overgrowth, but it's not enough. Mickey falls again.
Yeah, Celery attacking there for 135 damage on Chen. I wonder why that is. Maybe Mirana pressed her ult, and then even though she was Overgrowth, doesn't matter. Celery will just finish the kill with a nasty right click from Chen of all heroes. And yep, that is another big kill onto the Wood Ranger. This is a hero that is able to open up the fights against Gaimin later down the line. We talked about those 2 damage items really getting there, but these 2 deaths back-to-back slows down Gleipnir significantly.
Yep, Quinn going through the gate. He's going to meet 33. Dyrachyo is hounding him all the way. Already at half HP, trying to run away, but the question is, will he? Nice blink from Quinn. Has a stop in a few seconds is Dyrachyo. Okay, the Crimson Guard's going to buy him a little bit of time. It's going to be close, though. A couple more right clicks will suffice. Still has a lot of move speed. Another phase boost activation as meanwhile Ace and Tofu die in the bot lane. And 33 finding a lot of distance here, attempting the TP. Looks like he's out of there. Wow, really tanky.
That is such a crucial escape. Not only does he not die, but the amount of time that Gaimin just wastes on two of their cores creates tons of space down bottom to win that fight for Liquid, with Nisha and Mickey getting a kill each. And that will bring Mickey back in a comfortable position now in second on that net worth.
And Liquid
Double
gets
wisdom.
Both wisdoms at the 14 minute. We've seen this time and time again, either the 7 or the 14, having huge impact. So Liquid definitely not falling behind like we've seen so many times against this Gaimin Gladiators lineup. Okay, let's do a thought experiment.
Okay.
Somehow this game goes late. Who has the better lineup?
I would say absolutely Radiant for me.
Radiant?
Yeah, I think so. I think the support... Oh, hang on, Insania.
Yeah,
let's do a
dead.
thought experiment. Where will he respawn in 30 seconds?
It's a very philosophical question.
Yeah, that is...
Dragon Tail from Quinn. No follow-up, though. And the Dagon just to get some nice HP back for Nisha. He's level 11 now.
So, the reason I think the Radiant lineup is so strong later in the game is that this Wind Ranger carry, we've seen many games where it just absolutely obliterates late game, and you're playing it together with two insane AoE support controllers, which is exactly what she wants to work with late in the game. You've got Overgrowth, you've got Terrorize. On top of that, Doom is one of the ultimate late gamers. So even if Gaimin Gladiators get really farmed on multiple heroes, they might still just get doomed on 2 cores.
Oh my god, he put him back into the pit, but I don't think there's going to be much follow-up here. Whirlwind to deal with some of these creeps. Mickey's fine. Very close to a kill, though for Gaimin. That would have been really crippling for the Windrunner. Top 2 net worth despite having these 2 deaths for Mickey.
Yep.
As Quinn's going to be found by Nisha and Insania, slowed to a crawl. Dark Crypt is coming. 33's there as well. Gets off the Doom onto the Dragon. I know regen for you. Sonic Wave to follow. Looks like Quinn is likely going to fall no matter what. And now Ace trying to tank up as much as possible. A nice pit. He's going to get Curse Crown, though, onto the high ground. He should survive. Either way, Gaimin lose Celery on top of the original.
Dyrachyo
Okay,
is...
Dyrachyo in the middle of nowhere, as usual. Will be dusted, using the pack to try to get away, but it's not going to be. 3 dead for Gaimin, and Liquid coming out on top big time.
Yeah, this is the most important part of the game for the side of Liquid, and they're delivering. Just winning these fights handily. This isn't... Honestly, these fights aren't even really that close. The moment the Doom comes out on the Dragon Knight, Quinn can't stand his ground. He's not getting healed by the Chen, and they just step by step poke them down with all of their spells. It feels like Gaimin Gladiators need to get some sort of pipe up and running to block a lot of this damage from the Wind Ranger, from the Doom, and from the Willow.
Yeah, this was just a really awkward fight for Gaimin. And the Sonic Waves so far from Nisha have been on point. So for Gaimin Gladiators, Cinderin, if you're behind, I mean, have we seen them behind at this stage of the game?
Not in this stage of the tournament. I think this is the first time it's fair to... Okay,
Dragon Tail into Arrow. This should be a freebie.
Yeah, it will be. At this stage of the tournament, we haven't seen them challenge this much in the first 20 minutes. So this is already a very good look for Team Liquid. Talked about the scalability of their lineup and the way Gaimin usually win their games, and how sometimes it can seem like Gaimin are losing their way when they're 25 minutes and then things aren't going according to plan. And I want to say that's not because they don't know what to do. It's because the way they tailor their lineups and the way they strategize is very much built around this stage of the game being a success, which it almost always is.
Nisha. Arrow's going to hit inside the Pit of Malice, so another root will come. Do they have the damage to finish the job? Dragon Tail as well? No. Nisha blinks out.
That is a kill with Solar Flare, but it was on cooldown
That
for
is
Tofu.
actually true. That is true.
Yeah.
Crazy
They will
stuff.
force him back, and they will immediately look for something else here. So, full smoke up. Side of
Drew
Liquid are grouped up and trying to connect, but 33, if they found him here, that would be big.
Yeah,
will
he's a
react in
very
time? He
tanky
will.
boy. He blinks just in time. Quick fingers for 33.
This is huge, because this was potentially a Roche kill, actually. If they take out the Doom there, he wouldn't have had buyback. and they could have 5v4'd the Roche, so another good dodge.
Dyrachyo dodging the dust as the smoke was popped, but Liquid just going to be happy with the Ward Expedition here. And Ace has his Greaves. We'll be going for the Pipe of Insight next. Liquid looked like they're looking for a fight. Not afraid right now. Gleipnir for Mickey. BKB looks to be next.
I think whenever they have Doom ready, they're not necessarily favored in a fight, but if they get the fight on their terms, they're absolutely capable of killing off any hero of their choice and then building it around that. Tofu will get the leap off in time, so won't get shackled here against that Gleipnir. So another gank dodged, one from either side. Now, will Liquid force this? Will they just go straight into the tower? And what will Gaimin do? dyrachyo has no mana. Running around the mid area of the map. It doesn't really have much to offer, and looks like Gaimin Gladiators are just full-on forfeiting this tower. So Liquid will grab that, and iNsania, realizing that's what's happening, is already setting up for the counterplay because he's anticipating that Gaimin want to trade down bot. And if they're enough heroes set up for this.
dyrachyo gets hit by the Gleipnir. Whirlwind to fall, doing a lot of damage to the creeps, but not so much the Clinks. And 33 finally jumps in, gets off the Doom just to ensure that the Clinks does die. But Quinn coming in with the Dragon Tail into the arrow. Is it going to be enough damage to take out Mickey? It's going to be close. Yes. It's a 1-for-1 for the carries on each respective team. Big Terrorize coming out from the Dark Willow, though, as Quinn continued to right-click on a 33, doing barely any damage. The Doom's so tanky at this stage of the game, as iNsania is stuck in a horrible place. He gets evaporated. Nisha gets off the Sonic Wave, deletes Tofu in turn. So 2 for 2.
Nisha's free to move around here.
Got the Shadow Realm away. Ace and company looking like they might soft back here. Nisha very low on mana, as Quinn apparently wants to continue on against the Dragon Tail. Again, 33. They are tickling at this stage of the game. Firestorm is a good opportunity to do some damage to him, though, inside that Pit of Malice as well. He pops the Crimson Guard, though. The Curse Crown's going to eventually activate. The Bedlam not going to be enough, as Boxy is finally brought down by Quinn. So in the end, a 3 for 2 favor Gaimin.
Yeah, and Liquid get the hell out of there because Ace is bringing in dyrachyo through the gate. So, a decent outcome, you have to say, there for Gaimin Gladiators, especially if they end up claiming the tower as their grand prize. And yeah, well, with this amount of rally units, it's only a matter of time before this tower says bye-bye. All right, down it goes. Still, Roshan is up, has been up the whole game. Neither team has claimed it just yet, and it has to become a point of contention now with multiple towers now down, and with the position Gaimin Gladiators have on the map and the knowledge that Doom and Sonic Wave are down. I think this is just a total freebie. Liquid should be, even if they were in position to smoke for this right now, I think they would just make the call against it. The risk-reward just doesn't seem good enough. So Gaimin pick up some steam here. They pick up the Aegis. And I'm assuming probably putting it on dyrachyo so he can play very aggressive. Dragon Knight as a transformation hero. All right, he is the choice. I mean, this is a hero that we sometimes see people put it on, sometimes they don't, because the second life isn't as good as the first. However, the way Liquid have approached the fight so far in the game, they've really focused on dooming Quinn when they can.
Yeah, true.
This dissuades 33 from going for that play.
So what you're saying is dyrachyo screwed.
He might just be able to play the fights completely differently now that there's an Aegis in play, because now he can be more patient. Quinn can go in, create vision in the fight.
Did you say dyrachyo be patient?
He can be more patient, which is waiting 1 second instead of 0.
I see. Okay, gotcha.
But it's a good point. Unlikely to happen.
Well, Tofu will get his
shard for the Mirana.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Really happy about that. Let's see what he pivots to now, because he was ready to buy it just now. Now, Tofu has a choice to make. As Fear pointed out on the panel, we've seen games where Gaimin Gladiators are playing this Chen Underlord that Tofu will just go BKB into carry items. Wouldn't mind seeing that here, honestly. And that's not because, okay, Gaimin will plan for... Oh, hang on. All right. Everybody dodges everybody. Never mind. There's a Gleipnir.
Yep, except for Tofu. Does get one leap off, but... And the Hand of God.
Wow, actually Hand of God.
Yeah, that is one important ult down now.
That was a completely hopeless situation. He had 0 leaps left. He was never getting out of that one. But
33, Doom initiation. Nisha going to Shadow Strike to slow this Underlord to a crawl. This is eventually going to be the kill, going the way of Liquid.
Yep.
So Liquid really on top of things in this game number 1. And the Gleipnir now with the whirlwind to follow. Mickey with the help of Boxy will take out Celery as well. So 3 dead.
Damn, they're just bleeding out. They have the Aegis, they have the advantage, and Liquid are just picking them apart one by one and across multiple lanes. They'll now get the bottom tier 1 and the mid tier 2. Talk about a power play with a disadvantage. This was not what I think many people would have expected in this game state. When Gaimin gets the Aegis, usually they're the ones deciding how things go down.
Dyrachyo.
Okay,
Ooh.
Big damage.
Gotta be careful. And 33 just tanking up this tier 2 tower. There is now TP coming in. Remember, Quinn has the Aegis still. In his dragon form, another blink away. Tofu. Is he actually going to die just to Boxy? Yes. Wow. That is unreal. He's going to fake out the Terrorize, run away. The Pit of Malice already on cooldown.
So many things going right for Liquid. I was going to say, they got to be a little bit careful with the TP reinforcements with Doom on cooldown and the numbers being able to be brought there from Gaimin, but they're just too fast. They're killing the heroes before Gaimin get to group up, which is what they've been so good at for so long, is getting that formation going and setting the terms of the fight. If you break them off too quickly on the side of Liquid, then it doesn't really matter. Then they don't get to that point.
Yeah, 4K lead here for Liquid, and this Aegis just seems to be doing absolutely nothing for Gaimin Gladiators, at least not yet. Still have time to try to make use of it, of course, as Mickey has the 9-second BKB, and dyrachyo going for an MKB, it seems. He's going to have a lot of right-click damage.
Let's see what Gaimin want to do now. Still a minute and a half on that Aegis. Do they have any smokes? They do. So they have a smoke available on... Okay, they have 2 smokes, actually. They're going to pop one now and try to find a moment of opportunity. I think the ideal fight for them is catching a core around the mid area and then turn that into a tier 2. High ground seems a little bit like a pipe dream right now, but I say that and it's Gaimin Gladiators, so probably not. But yeah, we are approaching the part of the game where they usually win. So
very even though, according to DOTA Plus. Dust not going to connect. And Gaimin trying to make use of this Aegis as they're grouping up. And Liquid, I would assume, will try to just lay until around the expiration date of said Aegis. Nisha getting pretty close to the Aghanim Scepter, just 800 away.
Yeah, so smoke move unsuccessful. They do place down a very nice aggressive ward in that bottom half of the map. They actually, as a matter of fact, have 2 down there, so if Liquid were to go down there and farm, get a good punish, they'll try 33.
Dragon Tail, arrows coming for him as well. Do they have the damage to actually rip through him? The big Terrorize, though, to try to counteract this. Mickey with the BKB and the Whirlwind as well. The Doom applied to the Underlord, trying to run away. Mickey's the one getting deleted, though, has to be really careful. Will eventually back away, just barely living, as Nisha gets off a Sonic Wave onto 2, already deleted to start this fight out. Overgoat's going to hold them in place for Nisha, try and reset. dyrachyo kind of stuck in no man's land, will use his ability to be able to blink away, but not far enough, it seems. Trying to take out Mickey at the very edge of this fight. He finally gets taken out by Quinn, but it's going to cost dyrachyo his life. It's a 2 for 2. That's 2 cores for Gaimin Gladiators down.
Yeah, Gaimin will try to pursue, though.
Yep,
Arrow.
Quinn continuing on. The arrow is going to hit thanks to the Dragon Tail as well. Boxy coming in with the Bedlam, trying to take up as much damage as he can. Nisha getting off the Shivas is Celery attempting to run away. They're going to lose Boxy, though, on the Liquid side. Nisha very low on mana, but he's going to continue to pursue as Celery falls. They are using so many resources. And
these fights are so
close.
Insanely close.
Oh! No! The Aghanim Scepter puts the end to Tofu.
Wait, was that Quinn actually killing him? Did I see that right? Did that one come from the Dragon Knight, or was it from Mirana herself?
I'll have to see it again.
I think Quinn actually killed him. He did not realize that the Shadow Strike on himself was expiring with that Axe.
Ultimate toxicity from Quinn.
Yeah. He wants a better solar flare is what he's trying to say. You get an upgraded version. I'm not sure if that one was from the DK, but it did look like it. It can be a bit difficult to tell sometimes, but nice little extra kill for Nisha.
We'll watch it again here.
I mean, what an insanely long fight this was.
Yeah, a really good Terrorize as well from Boxy. Basically resetting things completely. And I don't know how Mickey lived so long in this engagement.
So the way Mickey is playing this fight is kind of interesting. He walks in with BKB and Whirlwind, and he's waiting to wind run until he's on 20%. He had it ready the whole time. So he's tanking up whatever damage he can, knowing that when he wind runs, he's more or less invincible against the Dire lineup. So he's kind of baiting them to spend as many resources as possible that amount to nothing. This is going to become dangerous when Clinks gets some True Strike, though. And we're not far off that MKB, which could completely change the course of this game when dyrachyo gets it.
This fight was still, it was this long, apparently.
Oh, look what Mickey has.
So there's the Shadow Strike with the Agnum Scepter. Let's see. As Celery falls here. And eventually, okay, so Tofu's the one that's Shadow Struck right now. Quinn, I don't think he is. Or is he? Oh, yeah, you're right.
He is. Oh, that's the stuff.
Uh-oh. dyrachyo. Ooh. Nice. Pit of Malice from Ace to disengage here. Although he's stuck in place thanks to the Gale Force. And Gaimin Gladiators trying to disengage now. That's going to make a great GIF, by the way.
That is so good, man. Aw.
Make that into a meme immediately, please. Thank you.
So good, man. You gotta, I mean, Quinn is just good at reaction faces in general. So when you get a moment like that, that's the player you want it to happen to. It's awesome. Oh, man. What do you make of Windranger? I think, is this the first time we see Revenant's Brooch queued up on this hero? I feel like this is not a build that has been common at all here.
That's cool.
So just to remind everyone how this item works, since I don't think I've seen it a single game this tournament, it gives you damage and spell lifesteal, and then you can toggle it on to make your attacks cost more mana, but they deal magic damage and they can hit ethereal units but not crit. So he hasn't gone for the Daedalus, so maybe he won't at all, and he's trying to kill the enemy heroes through magic damage rather than physical, knowing that he's against Dragon Knight, knowing that he's against the Shen, Divine Favor. Interesting option here. I feel like this item is very hit or miss.
Yeah, it sounds like we have a listen in right here. Let's take a listen.
Not too bad, guys. This game better than this game. This fight's so good. Holy shit!
There we go. I have no idea what he just said, but that would probably make a good voice line.
Which is always worth a listen in, of course. Yeah, that's how you too, as a Twitch chatter, can be top 3 at TI.
Oh yeah.
This is how comms are during high-stakes games playing for 7 digits. You know, it's interesting, isn't it? They're just humans like the rest of us, except in Dota they're kind of godlike. But you know,
they can be subhuman at times as well, of course, as can we all.
Yep.
7K lead here for Liquid. Roche is spawning in less than 10 seconds, and we're going to have a good old-fashioned Roche off. And who fights better in this area, would you say? Is Arrow? We'll find Roche. He's not going to be too happy about that. But who would you say has advantage in this area in terms of team fight?
Oh, it's so hard to say. Honestly, with how close these fights have been so far, it really depends on who gets the right angle. Both teams have tons of potential. A really good pit can cause a devastating opener for the side of Gaimin. On the other side, Overgrowth, Terrorize, really big spells. Even a Key Shackle Shot, which is a spell I feel like we've barely seen this game.
Oh, Nisha on the cliff. He gets some vision, but they have vision as well. Whirlwind doing a lot of damage. Ace trying to get the hell out of there, but the damage is applied to Mickey. The Doom onto the Dragon Knight. 33 is the one actually being evaporated despite being the tankiest hero in this game. But Gaimin Gladiator, they lose Quinn. In trade is the Doom. It's already a 4-for-1, and only dyrachyo living through the day. Looks like he'll eventually be fine. But this fight not going the way that Gaimin were thinking initially.
There's just, that's what I mean about reaching the stage of the game for the Radiant lineup. When they get these items online and they get the right angle, look at that damage from Nisha on the Queen of Pain. 8,700, and this feels like it was in 5 seconds. Just ridiculous output from that Quap. I wonder how many people he hit with the Sonic. It's ridiculous damage. And of course, the Shiva's Guard also playing a part in these fights. It's preventing Gaimin from getting that regeneration and the healing in. This will now result in an Aegis pickup for the side of Liquid, now in a very comfortable position. And now the big question is, what do Gaimin do? Because plan A has now officially failed. How does Clinks become a late game monster?
Look at this.
The solar flare is always going to be an X factor in the late game if Mirana gets there, but Tofu is, we haven't really talked about that so much, he's really poor this game. He was bottom net worth just a moment ago on that Mirana. So the BKB isn't even close to finished, and we're 34 minutes in. He has no items.
Yeah, that's not something we've seen very much at this tournament.
6 deaths to his name, only 41 CS minute 34, has very much been given everything to his teammates, but might come back to bite him that he's been this selfless. When you get to this game state, you wish that you had that additional damage dealer when Dragon Knight is seemingly getting doomed literally every fight. And Quinn doesn't seem to want to itemize against the Doom either. We're not seeing any Lincolns pick up, we're not seeing the team trying to cover for him much in any way. I suppose his Pike is somewhat of a pseudo solution some of the time, but not quite cutting it.
Well, we're not too far away from the Revenant's Brooch, which, like you said, might be the first purchase the entire tournament. I feel like this item has not been a thing for quite a while since they changed the fact that you can't crit with it, right? That was the old Rebuke strat or PA strat.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun for a couple weeks that it was relevant.
Yeah, for the people that used it, everybody else hated it. That's Dota in a nutshell, though. Tormentor will go the way of Celery, so he now gets the Whole Persuasion upgrade. So now can take an Ancient Creep based on level of Hand of God, so he can take 2 Ancients. I think you definitely want to get an Ancient Granite Golem here. It really feels like a matter of getting enough health on your team.
Yeah.
The armor from the Black Dragon, maybe not as important, given that the dyrachyo, or excuse me, Mickey is completing the brooch. Wonder if they think he is, though. They've only seen the Sacred Relic, so they might not even think he's going this path.
Yeah, true.
Could just as well have been a Nullifier buildup, or Radiance if this was 10,000 MMR lower than it is, or maybe 12,000 lower. Yeah, got to get used to that. Now high MMR is actually 15k from what I've been told.
Wow.
So
just keeps going. So there it is. Revenant's Brooch. We'll see how effective it is.
Needs to remember to toggle it. This is one of those things where, you know, you haven't really used this item very much, probably, as a player in the last bit of time. Gotta keep that. It's like an extra mental note you need to keep in check, and these fights are very fast and very chaotic. Nisha pushing out the wave. He has Aegis, so risk reward here. Okay.
Oh, they're actually going to try to jump Quinn, but he finds the distance. Although Thirdig's going in really deep against the Doom and the Sonic Wave onto this Dragon Knight. Quinn is dead. Does not have the buyback whatsoever, as Mickey taking a decent brunt of the damage, but Ace, he's taken out in his own base as
Mickey!
well.
Oh, the last
Mickey
tower
eventually
shot!
falls. 80 seconds of no winner. That's actually so big.
If he doesn't die there, they could probably continue this push. I don't know if they can now.
Yeah.
Maybe they still can. I mean, Nisha has 2 lives, and he is the strongest hero in the game, arguably.
Yeah, a minute and a half on this Aegis. But no DK, no Underlord. Pretty huge for your defense here if you're Gaimin. As Nisha's going to jump in. Look at the damage onto the Chen, but the arrow is going to connect again. There's 2 lives on this Quap. Terrorize comes out as Nisha wants to finish the job. Godlike for him. Deletes Celery. The buildings, though, not going down quite as fast, Cinderin.
Yeah, their lineup is not good at pushing, just flat out. Even if Mickey, I mean, if Mickey's alive, they're obviously much better, but doesn't have focus fire, of course.
So they get the tier 3, and we'll reposition. Another minute on this Aegis.
This might be all they get, but it's, I say that.
It's still big.
It's a lot. They got a lot out of that. This does open the avenue for Gaimin Gladiators of potentially focusing Nisha in the next fight, but he has just shown such incredible resilience in the fights. He's a really tough kill. He's got 3,400 health, about 50 armor when he gets... He has 50 armor on Quap when he gets living armor. I had to do a double take on that. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, that Quap has that much armor. That's
so what you're saying is Clinks needs a Revenant's Brooch as well.
I think the Daedalus is probably the right choice that he's going for. Yeah, this is just not what you're used to seeing in the past from Queen of Pain, right? He's just so stupidly tanky when he gets that living armor put on him. He will swap out his Craggy Coat for Ascetic's Cap, so he's losing some armor now, but still, he is ridiculously tanky, and you better 100 to 0 him, because you know if you don't, he's going to heal up
Yeah.
With that spell lifesteal from the Dagon, from the Ags, from the Sonic Wave, it's a ton of healing, which effectively turns your damage to dust. So gotta make sure. And that's a problem here, right? Do Gaimin actually have that amount of damage to begin with?
Right. Oh boy.
Nisha finds
Shivas.
Quinn.
Power shot gives a little bit of vision. 33 and company will find Quinn in the trees. Sonic Wave expended just to make sure that he dies.
It's a 25-second cooldown. He can use this for anything he wants on Nisha.
So Quinn does have buyback, but we'll have to sit things out for 70 seconds if he doesn't want to use it. And of course, the Aegis, like you said, is already expired. So from Liquid's perspective, Cinderin, wait for the next Roche or some other plan?
I think so. I don't think you're under any sort of pressure at this point to, you know, you should probably feel comfortable that you have this one if this keeps on going for another 10 to 15 minutes. It's the enemy team that has to make the moves. So as long as you map control, push out the waves, control the right areas, and prepare for that Roche, I think everything is going just according to plan. So we're hearing more and more Let's Go Liquids and more cheers. There are fans in the crowd here that have been waiting for this for 3 years for Liquid to finally beat Gaimin Gladiators in a singular game. And this might just be a one. Yep, they've definitely been better against them this year, and they're showing it this game too.
Yep, they certainly have done their homework. Another tier 3 dead. So Mickey and company going to focus on the racks now. Quinn up in 10 seconds. Gaimin desperately needing to hold this. Might have to give up this melee though. It's going to refresh the fortification though.
Yeah, no reason.
And with that, Liquid will back away.
Yep.
And
Nice
we won't know
side.
about Roche for another minute and a half. But yeah, this is getting very scary for Gaimin.
That's a great grab.
Yeah, absolutely.
Time to, as you said, we will know in a minute and 15. The teams obviously will not. So the potential respawn is over the course of the next 4 minutes. And as long as you cover the map well and keep pushing out, it feels like Gaimin are approaching the type of late game where it's like, all right, now they are the ones who have to go for what every team faces against them. It seemingly is that last Hail Mary fight when you're starting to be in a really crippling position. But I do feel like they want to wait for the last item on dyrachyo. I feel like if he can get this data list, that's when they want to go all in. So despite actually being in a spot on the map and having okay-ish waves to go for a smoke, I think they'll decide against it specifically to get that one item up in him. Tofu is solo smoked. Oh, it's Ninja Gear. Okay, never mind.
Yep, best neutral in the game still, 2024.
Yeah, it's been tier 1 for as long as Gaimin Gladiators have, it seems like.
Yeah, it's connected, I'm sure.
Nah, most of their games are over before it can drop.
That's true, actually, yeah.
Not this one. Trickster Cloak picked up by Celery, so a little more defensive line for him. The Ancient Guardian on dyrachyo could become important because... Oh, hang on, he gets dusted. Can they reach?
33 trying to go for him. Oh, the BKB comes out from dyrachyo. Pitamalis to prevent any further pursuit.
Well,
although Nisha wants to continue, Sonic Wave applied to only 2. And Quinn will pop the Dragon Form. Nisha going in really deep. He's going to get Dragon Tail. He's going to get 100 to 0 dead. Does have his buyback, though. You can see the Clinks finally goes down, though. dyrachyo just melts. Buyback comes out immediately from Nisha. Mickey with the big whirlwind doing so much damage. Tofu will TP out, though, as 33 eventually will drop to Quinn. Surely blinks away to ensure the kill. So it's a 3 for 2, I believe, with a buyback coming out from Nisha.
Nisha knows that if he were to get killed there, they have to drop absolutely everything on him, and he can buyback TP, so he will rejoin that fight. But honestly, I still think that was okay-ish for Gaimin Gladiators. Yeah, they lose 2 cores of their own, but they find a big kill. dyrachyo now has enough gold for his item. I don't think this is going to turn into a potential Rax push. Maybe if you have to buyback the Underlord, then I guess it looks even better for Liquid. But they're not going to buyback their own Doom, I think.
Yep, Quinn, Gale Force being really annoying.
They're not glyphing yet. All right,
finally
now,
comes
but
out.
there's the banner. So the glyph not going to do anything.
That's right.
And they are not buying back their Underlord. They're going to concede the tower. dyrachyo has completed his
concede
item.
more than this if they're not careful. Focus now onto the melee. Underlord up in 15, Clinks in 25. Like you said, the buyback is still there for Ace, but they will give up another barracks. So 2 melees dead. The range actually goes down in the top lane right now to the creeps alone.
So 1 lane remaining here.
Basically, yeah.
For the side of Gaimin. Yeah, okay. And 100 HP on a range tracks, which is 1 little poke. from any of the farmed heroes. Octarine Core on the Willow.
Wow.
All right. Well, Boxy has got some stuff going this game.
Yeah.
And Nisha hits level 25. So let's see what talent he takes here. He could take 250 Sonic Wave damage, or he could take the -2 second Blink cooldown. Both are incredible talents when you have the Octarine build. As we've established already, the Sonic Wave has a cooldown of 26 seconds, so adding a 250 pure damage to that feels real good.
God, Whirlwind is insane in these late game scenarios. Mickey did so much damage here.
And now he has the 25 talent on him as well, which is Whirlwind kills extend duration by 2 seconds.
Oh
so
boy, yeah.
That's even longer. Nisha will take the Sonic Wave damage over the Blink cooldown. Would have put his Blink on a 2.5 second CD, but wants the damage.
Yep, Gaimin want to try to contest this. We can see that Roche, a little bit damaged, will go back into the pit, so we have the good old-fashioned Roche shot for Roche number 3. We have a refresher now on 33. This could have huge implications on this game.
Yep.
On this fight specifically.
Easily has the mana to use it with the Octarine that he bought earlier. Liquid keeping their composure here. This is the vision is everything here.
He looks at Quinn, they look at each other. Quinn gets the stun off first, pops the BKB. Sonic Wave onto 2 though. The Doom onto Quinn. He tries to get the high ground. Whirlwind with the Overgrowth combination, just shredding these heroes on Gaimin Gladiators' side. Quinn is going to be next because he was doomed at the beginning of the fight. They're going to buy back in mass. But 33, he might be the first to fall for Liquid. He's on the other side of the trees. Tofu eventually, no! He actually lives on Doom some way, somehow. And only one member of Gaimin alive, and it's the Underlord. And this is a Roche for Liquid.
That was completely clean. They offer up the Doom, and as Dragon Knight tries to blink Dragon Tail him, he doesn't manage to chain it before they get the BKB off, and 33 gets the Doom off. DK, he's screwed in that fight. And he gets
all right, Roche really wants to go home, but he will die here. And the refresher shard will drop. And the question is, can they just end here, Cinder? Clinks is dead for 60, Quinn for 50.
Yeah, there is no way. This isn't minimum megas. I mean, what are you going to defend with? Underlord is auras only. He has no damage, no utility to try to delay the push, except, I mean, he's going to Crimson Guard the barracks, right? But they don't have Glyph.
Yeah, Raindrax taken out by 33, and now Mickey and company focusing on the mid lane. And this will be uncontested, of course. Mirana's up in 5 seconds.
They even have the banner here, so this wave.
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty nice placement. Now the tier 4s are next for Liquid, trying to take this game number 1 here in the upper bracket finals. Quinn up in 15 seconds. Clinks in 15. They're going to lose at least one tier 4, maybe both, with the Ancient being fully exposed. We might see a big team fight here. 33 jumps in. You can see the Whirlwind. Mickey is just shredding everybody. The Doom applied to Ace as well. He's dead. No buyback. Celery's next. And now, again, it's going to be 3 versus 5. Just 2 different heroes dead this time around for Gaimin Gladiators. Quinn jumping in with one last-ditch effort will pop the BKB. Dyrachyo doing a lot of damage to Nisha, but he's just going to shrug it off because he has that second life in the Aegis.
Oh, big damage here.
Burning Barrage doing quite a bit.
Aegis
still intact. 33, not able to get the hooks off the Overgrowth onto 2. Do they have the damage to finish these heroes off? Looks like the Mirana is dead. GG is called. Liquid take game number 1. Which is exactly what we wanted to see, a close game, Cinder. I think we saw that this time around.
Cinderin, what did that interview say?
Yeah, it's interesting to get a second job that you weren't hired for out of nowhere. Well, effectively, he said that the Muerta versus Windranger matchup is interesting because Muerta can, you know, avoid Windranger's Whirlwind when she's using it because you turn into the ghost form with Pierce the Veil. And then before that, he said, well, the reason our starts to the tournaments early on can go a little bit poorly is that maybe we have a player. He didn't name any names specifically, but he was like, we have one player who sometimes struggles to take scrims seriously, but then when it really counts, we really pull it together and bring our A game. So maybe that's why some of the earlier stages of tournaments aren't going so well. But yeah, I mean, this is a clutch team, right? When it's crunch time, they just get it done most of the time. And well, now it really is crunch time. You're down 0-1. Your first game did not go according to plan. And as the panel pointed out, this is a rather unusual Gaimin Gladiators approach to a draft in this tournament. So I think it will be really inspiring to see if they start playing slower and win a late game,
right?
Dare I say. But Liquid have some of their absolute ace heroes here. 33 on the Visage. They've got the Windranger again. Nisha's Puck has been ridiculous this tournament as well.
As the crowd appreciating your voice line yet again. hearing that one going out. No, I agree with you. The Nisha puck has looked so good, and that is going to be the interesting thing to watch. Has it been a situation where now Gaimin are willing to take up and change their style a little bit, or have they been fully pressured into it? We're just going to wait for the outcome, and then we'll, draw deductions from there, because that's how that works. But regardless,
you can't be wrong if you let things happen first and then say, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's what I meant all along. Absolutely. Yeah, but we'll keep our eyes across all of these various different lanes. And that's the thing, too, is like everybody, when they think of Gaimin Gladiators, they're thinking about all of these big aura heroes making moves around the map. Ace playing on this Primal Beast. I'm curious to see what he goes for on this one, because he oftentimes is that engine that this entire rest of the draft just sort of plays around. How do you think he's going to play this game?
First of all, I want to say, make no mistake, this is one of his best heroes. We just haven't seen Gaimin play that style very much. But there have been games earlier I want to say earlier this year, and especially last year, where he was totally carrying on Primal Beast. And it wasn't necessarily taking an aura approach. It was the traditional BKB Ags, be in the middle of fights, do tons of damage, and tank the whole world with a Shiva. Could be what they're angling for here, that they feel like, all right, well, our aura strategy didn't really work against Liquid, so now instead we're going to pick heroes that team fight better, and then we're going to itemize around it in a different fashion with probably more focus on BKBs rather than the other auras. But let's see how the early laning stage goes first and what luxury you have the options of buying. I mean, so far so good, especially in mid. Quinn absolutely handing it to Nisha here, 12-7 against the 5-2 on puck. So this DRSA is going worse for Nisha than it did against Sniper the other day, very early on.
Yeah, this is a dangerous matchup, even later on into the game too, right? Not just the laning stage, but, blink stun at certain points in time, and then you've got the follow-up coming in from the rest of those heroes, which could just be the death of them, as Mickey pressure on well, I get a little bit of help from the Centaur creep there.
That's why they call them neutral creeps. That was just chaotic evil. It just wanted everybody to suffer at the same time, but nobody really reaped the benefits there except everyone watching who got a little cheap laugh out of it. It's like, all things considered, all cores probably not too unhappy here. It's relatively even. Nisha's caught up a little bit now here in mid, but I think you make a good point. In some of the games that we've seen Nisha do incredible things on this puck, he hasn't necessarily... Oh, hang on, Celery's doing a ton of damage to Boxy. That's a 5-stack.
This is getting up there higher and higher.
It's only level 1, though.
I mean, it keeps him back for the moment, but the high five shows he was never really that worried about his health in that movement. But yeah, able to also do a nice little shards play over the top and get that bounty rune.
Yeah.
You were saying I said something really smart, though, so you can keep saying that if you want.
I forgot. It doesn't really happen very often. Yeah, so the thing was, it was about the puck matchup in this game, that sometimes puck has these pop-off games when Nisha plays it in particular. But this time, as you mentioned, Dragon Tail into Arrow is a dangerous combination, and you have the Pulverize. Even something like the Calling can actually be quite a big issue for the puck as well. So I think the player to watch in this game, which is the case for many of Liquid's games, will be Boxy. The Tusk is the true combo breaker you have in your lineup on Liquid. I guess Clock can be a little bit of a pseudo by just breaking the fight up with Cogs. But a lot of the time, against a hero like Primal Beast, it's actually a quite interesting matchup that, generally speaking, Clockwork is good against Primal, but once Primal gets the BKB, it can quickly get quite awkward, where you cog into someone, and if Primal's in the cogs as well, he's just trampling them to death inside of those cogs. So, gotta be a little bit careful with your placements, but on paper, very good in the first 20 minutes of the game.
Absolutely. And of course, they were able to sort of block out the nice counter that the Shadow Demon normally is, taking that in the first phase overall.
Yeah.
Could also see, as this game gets later, I wouldn't mind seeing Tofu get back and get some stacks up, because that's the other thing that Primal can really accelerate his farm through and start looking super solid if you want to play more of the stack game. And there you go, Cogs are out, power shot, Ace still feeling it, very survivable, and he's so low and he goes down. Tofu with the last couple ticks, and he also manages to get out. Oh, he doesn't. The snipe! Oh, I have never cast a curse somebody as quickly.
That was actually impressive. You almost willed that kill into existence.
Definitely getting out. Sorry, buddy. Well, now another banish coming. Dyrachyo, the calling, the silence is out. A little bit of drinking, buddies. Make sure that 33 and Boxy will be fine.
Yeah, there are 3 stacks of poison there on 33, but no mana left in the tank for Celery means no chase. But yeah, it was a thing in the draft as well when we were talking about it, or looking at the Shadow Demon pick. The panel was mentioning how multiple supports made it through the pool. And the thing is, you're unlikely to want to grab the Omni Knight when you're playing into the SD. So I think for Gaimin Gladiators' perspective, they were kind of happy to see that first pick where they can just snipe counter it with SD and then also not have to ban Omni. I think that really opened up the draft for them quite nicely to go for this pivot that they have here. Ace will get power shot, big damage. iNsania,
slow down.
Can he reach?
He's getting closer. Oh, he went the other way. He tried to block it off, but there was a tree blocking his path. Does have the onslaught, but this is weird.
This is still really good for the side of Liquid. The amount of time Ace has to use to run away here and then TP to base for a refill.
And then they try and set this up. The wraparound coming from iNsania. If they can whittle Gaimin down a little bit, they're baiting them out here to the side, snowball forward, and now caught inside the cogs. Do they have enough damage to bring down Celery? Oh, the calling! Stopping that other soul assumption. He finally manages to throw it out, but it's not enough damage.
Oh, so is Boxy gonna die?
Oh man, this would be huge if they could find that kill.
For a 3v2, that is an awesome outcome for Gaimin. They didn't lose anyone and they almost killed someone off. iNsania has to use his healing salve, Boxy's really low and probably has to go back to base. And if both supports are out of the play for a little bit, 33, Visage is very vulnerable when it's playing 1v2. This is a hero that, you know, people will generally remember the phases of Visage just being invincible, but the first few levels on Visage, it is not a tanky hero whatsoever. He will manage to pull these couple of creeps under tower for some safety, but once this wave dies, with no supporting cast to cover him, he has to be careful.
An Ace with the turnaround up on that top lane. They thought they could do something there, but no luck at all. They managed to bring down that clockwork. Also worth noting, because they saw those supports, Liquid feel comfortable leaving this Wisdom Room for 33. So they're going to leave him alone, and then Boxy's going to TP back out, trying to just get 33 back on the right track.
Yep, going for that Wisdom Rune is going to cut him 3 creeps in the tower, though. Yeah. So. And not only that, now the wave is still back on the enemy side of a lane. So once again, Visage will have to find his way down here alone. Good kill from Liquid.
A little bit too greedy from Ace.
Yeah, probably wasn't expecting that rotation from the Tusk.
One leap charge, and iNsania coming in, but not going to be able to force Tofu all the way away. Does secure at least a rune up on the top side. It's going to spawn, and Nisha should be able to get that one. It's a little bit close. Quinn's quick, but no.
33, he gets banished. They probably can't chase this. Chase Tofu, though.
Right.
And
Tofu in trouble. Now the turn, Boxy! Bit off more than he could chew. Nisha's trying to get out with the Ace rotation. It looks like they're going to turn their sights on to iNsania. 33 actually TP's into this. And now they're making the move onto Quinn, keeping him out of tower range. The TP is coming in from Shadow Demon. Is not going to be an easy kill. And in fact, after baiting the TP, now Liquid are going to be the ones that back on out. 33, another round of Soul Assumption, can take down Celery. Yes, it is enough damage. So they lose both of those supports, and now they're bringing even more in. Mickey shows up. Now they take down Ace. Liquid bringing so many numbers. The one hero that didn't end up making the swell move. Oh, the arrow! Arrow, it comes in! Now Nisha's dead too! Bro, what's happening?
Yeah,
there's like 9 heroes mid.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. So this is actually kind of a cascading effect of 33 having to leave bottom. The reason this turns out this way is 33 gave up. The wave was in such a bad placement down bottom against the SD Muerta, and he had no supporting cast there, so he had to leave. So he just started going mid to find some sort of impact, and it turned into this huge fight. Now he's going to die for it too.
Another move underneath the tower. Gaimin Gladiators, not used to being down 1-0 in a series, but they're fighting back good in this one.
This is easily the worst start 33 has had on this hero in this tournament. I think that is the biggest concern for Liquid right now. The score doesn't look too bad, the gold doesn't look too bad. Visage has 21 CS and he's level 5. And that's after taking the Wisdom Rune.
Right.
He's still not 6-minute 10 on a core. So really unheard of here for Liquid. He's now finally going to get his 10 by TPing down here and getting that flag bearer last hit. So he will be online. But if they manage to find him again here, that would be a total travesty. Gaimin Gladiators are thinking about it, but will decide it's not worth it unless, all right, there's a haste. Quinn.
Now ready to make that move around, and eyes already towards the direction where he's going to be. Smoked up, ready to head back. 33. I mean, he's playing as safe as you can possibly be. They got to know about this rotation.
This is such a good read.
Will it stop it from happening? Quinn's still ready to run in. Yes, 33. Very wise movements.
Yeah. Excellent map awareness there. And as much as we talk about him struggling on the Visage, it's not like Ace is having a great game either. To be fair, both offlaners are really suffering in this individual game, and it's kind of interesting to see in a tournament where offlaners for the most part has been doing quite good for themselves in the early game. So we'll see who manages to find the better recovery. Visage net worth might be a little bit, I don't want to call it inflated, but you know, he will benefit from his facet. If it weren't for that, I think they would be neck and neck on the Visage as well as the Primal.
Well, and of course, that other issue that you run into as this game goes on is going to be, you know, Visage accelerating not just off of the kills, but then also you have better tower taking potential than the Primal does. Should note, they're coming through, and Tofu is right there, and now Mickey doesn't like the look of it as much, so he'll head back through the game. But it definitely feels like Primal is the one that likes to sort of get in there a little bit more in the fights, at least until 33 has those items to stay alive.
Yeah, and he's also opting for the Vanguard as his first purchase here on that Primal. It's an item we don't see particularly much as the first pickup for many heroes. You know, some heroes will get Crimson at some point, but this time it is extra valuable. You're playing against the Visage familiars, you're playing against the Windranger, of course, so Crimson is a complete given. But it's not an item Primal usually buys as his first, but this game is just too good. So as far as the supports go, nobody's really having a particularly standout game in terms of experience, with the exception of Tofu, who... Oh, hang on. That's a good curse right there.
I mean, that
he was having a good game until then. Okay, maybe he's still. No, he's still.
No, he's still.
Thought maybe I had another leap in this pocket, but no. So the reason I was looking at this was all the supports were level 5 except for Tofu, but now Celery will pick up his 6. Clockwork is almost 6, and Boxy is a little bit off. So it does give a slight advantage Gaimin because they have all their spells unlocked to take fights. But with that, death on the Mirana might slow things down a little bit and get them caught up. Tofu in the last game of Mirana was having very little farm. This might have been something they talked about post-game, that they want to build up the Mirana a little bit more than they did.
Right.
And this time around already, he has half the farm that he did last game at 35 minutes. He has it minute 12 in terms of raw CS. And that will, of course, reward him the earlier level 6. Let's see if this move is going to be successful for Gaimin.
They're scanning right now on the gate to see if Windranger went through. They're also going to bring the Shadow Demon through this one. So Mickey, if he does not get a read quickly, this is going to be an easy bring down. And I think with this Blink Dagger reveal, jump forward, stun, there's creeps in the way, he can't get the arrow in time. And so Mickey lands the shackle and gets some separation. Now the hook shot, the turnaround, sometimes farming keeps you alive. As Mickey was not going to get hit by that arrow, and they're also going to bring down this Shadow Demon. Boxy makes a move forward, they give the kill over to 33. I mean, whether lucky or good, Liquid are just winning right there.
Yeah, the timing just wasn't the right one there with the creeps coming in, as you said, blocking off the arrow, so Gaimin couldn't commit fully for that, and that's a really nice turnaround for Liquid. Not only do they keep Windranger alive and find 2 kills, there's some soul assumption action.
Yeah.
Visage just gets that nice bonus gold on the last kill, which is going to propel him into a much better position in the game than prior. Now with this 14-minute wisdom, will Liquid actually make it in time? This is pretty close. I think they're too late.
God, that is a big round of people running forward and gonna find that kill onto Celery. dyrachyo just going to back away, realizing that there's a lot of danger coming his direction. Yeah, and I mean, I think the Crimson is an interesting choice. It's something we can talk about here a little bit too, to help try and keep these towers alive a little bit. But honestly, if they bring numbers like that, I don't think Crimson's going to keep these tier 2s alive, even if they want to keep that pressure on.
No, it's more a matter of, can you have the staying power in fights?
Right.
We've seen plenty of fights with Liquid once they get this Windranger up and running, and together with the Visage, they have to buy this item on the side of Gaimin. So he's the only real candidate who could get it on this Primal Beast, so he'll have to, arguably maybe you could say, sacrifice going for the build that Primals often want to do with the BKB.
Yeah.
He'll get it later. As we've said a couple of times already, Ace's game is just not that great, and that has seemed like a recipe for disaster in a lot of Gaimin's losses. Is when Ace isn't off to a good start, some of the times the tempo just can't really match what they like to look for. Liquid once again in a very comfortable position.
Maybe again with the Crimson and then potentially having like Gleipnir timing on the dyrachyo Muerta, there could be something more that they make work at that stage. Liquid already have the Gleipnir completed. It looks like they want to make another go of this. And again, you know, blink stun from Quinn into an arrow. This should be a pretty easy kill on everybody, but the counter move being made by Liquid right now into these Ancients. If iNsania finds them, off to the side, there's creeps in the way. dyrachyo, does he realize who's nearby? The jump forward, hook shot in. They have the snowball, they have the kill. Liquid just smelling blood in the water and going hunting.
Yeah, are they going to go to try to steal the stack as well? This is kind of slow with just Puck and Clockwork. We'll want to try to also defend. They want to keep everything alive here, bringing the numbers against Ace and the siege creep. Can they even stop this push? Maybe yes. The tower will stay alive, but it will be in deny range.
I mean, this is so good too because they're not showing that there's two heroes still over to the
Quinn's
side.
gonna jump him. Instant drinking buddies.
And now they go, trying to find what they can do. And the jump through coming from Ace, control, but immediately broken. Now Mickey goes in with that focus fire. Ace still trying to do what damage he can, but there's just not enough HP on Quinn to go for this fight.
This is the other thing. I was talking about BKB on Primal, but you know, against these heroes, sometimes you also want to get that Blade Mail.
Yeah.
And he can't afford to get everything, so he has to make the team decision here of getting the Crimson. That means once he's in the middle of them, they can freely hit him without any repercussion. So Mickey just doing a full-on whirlwind into his face with the Gleipnir. And A cannot sustain that amount of damage just yet on that Primal, so he kind of had to go in for that, otherwise the fight would have been even worse. But once again, really, really nice fights from Liquid. I believe, did they get the deny on the tower? No, Quinn did get the last hit on it.
Okay.
But still.
A tough series of events for the side of Gaimin Gladiators, who are now facing a 4K gold lead for Team Liquid, 6-11, 17 minutes in. And while we keep talking about all these items that seem like they're going to be great, if they don't get to that net worth sort of critical status, Gaimin are just going to be sitting ducks here. I mean, is this the point in time in the game where we start seeing that patented, like, you know, split push style spread out across the map, or do you think there's still ways that Gaimin can fight here?
I think split pushing seems like a very dangerous proposition against the heroes you're facing. Clockwork can get vision with the rockets. You've got Puck, who's one of the best catch heroes on the map, who can combo with seemingly any of the other heroes and find kills on stragglers or random heroes off on their own. I think for Gaimin, you're probably thinking about, let's get this Crimson and try again and get a better angle. And for them, I think the best possible fight is jumping and killing Tusk.
Right.
And then starting the fight and building it around that. But, well, speaking of jump, Nisha has eyes on Ace.
They see him here again. The Wind Ranger moving into position. Two supports a little bit to the north. Can they get away on Ace? It's going to just go for the TP out, but the snowball comes in time. And again, in the grave. And in fact, it's the Vithid that finishes the Crimson Guard first.
He's now ahead of every Radiant hero. Can you believe it? Just these couple of moves where Soul Assumption is involved. And 33's game is completely recovered. They even find Tofu, a little freebie there.
And this is what you're talking about, the dangerous split push. Even without the Clockwork, they're finding these pickoffs as they happen. But they have the Crimson Guard done now. Do they decide to get a group of smoke play and fight together?
Do they have enough damage themselves?
Right. Well, maybe an opportunity here if you find the Puck with the calling. Nisha goes down. dyrachyo gets the kill. That's what Gaimin Gladiators needed.
That's a really big one. Just something to break the map open a little bit, give you some space to get out. Maybe you can snowball off this slightly by at least getting some vision out in the enemy jungle. Or counter, dewarding something, just, you know, getting a little bit of breathing room, because Liquid have really been running the show for the last 5 to 10 minutes. Seems like Gaimin have been struggling to find any successful move, but that one did work out. This one time Tusk was not near Nisha to cover him.
And Ace, seeing that there's some Lotuses being taken, is going to go for the hunt now. Finding Boxy would be big, and he goes right on through him. Do they have some help nearby? It does look like it, and yeah, immediately going to be a disruption? Okay. Now, Celery there, they'll find this kill onto Boxy. And again, getting out on the map, helping. Now, does Boxy manage to deny out to Roche? Well, he's trying. Does he get a stomp? Maybe a stomp opportunity? No. Ace kills him off.
Couple of kills found for Gaimin now. Mickey is still farming up an absolute storm on this Wind Ranger. Level 16, almost has BKB. Another Dragon Tail.
And
this is a tough one. Not going to happen.
No chance, and Nisha now shows back up. They're moving in. Power shot, not quite enough. Disruption. Ace moves forward. Crimson Guard mitigating a lot of this damage. trying to find anybody to jump onto. Dyrachyo trying to stand tall here too, but the magic damage coming through is just a little bit too much in the hit forward. Quinn not able to save, and now he might be in further trouble as well. iNsania comes all the way out of nowhere, and the Cogs push back 4 dead. Liquid, they're just looking too good in this series.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, how close has this series really been? This is the upper bracket finals. This is for a grand final slot, and Liquid just seems flat out better today so far in both games. The first game might have looked a little bit closer on gold, but that was against a lineup that was meant to win early. This game, Gaimin Gladiators are meant to play a little bit slower and get towards a close mid game, but because they don't have that early game aggression that they've been successful with in so many of their games this time around, Liquid are kind of just running the show, and they're the ones taking most of the initiative and making successful moves.
Oh.
So now they are Gaimin, essentially. And what is their backup plan on their side? There's nothing in sight for me that really inspires a lot of confidence that, all right, this item timing for Gaimin is the one to turn things around. Ace is working on a pipe, which is extremely far off. Mirana fell off a cliff after a decent start. Dragonite's working on a pike. I feel like a concern for Gaimin is damage once again, similar to the last game. Do you have what it takes to fight through this now extremely tanky Visage and the team around it? What is your damage really coming from? It's mainly the Muerta, and she needs multiple items before she can reliably stand her ground. We saw her just getting obliterated in previous fights a couple times.
Wow, you can see that win probability right now very much into the favor of Team Liquid, and I think it speaks to just the way that this game has not gone how Gaimin saw it, right? You look at this draft, you think about a DK stun to start the fight, and then the Primal's there this entire time Muerta's hitting, but the reality of the situation has been it's been a lot of sort of awkward little engagements where they haven't been able to have that damage you're talking about of the Muerta because there's no bulk in front of her. But a tough situation, and Liquid wanted to put the screws to them, start pressuring this tier 2 tower, while Gaimin just try and get their items.
Oh, they see Quinn when he will blink away. Hook shot!
Now he does have a Hurricane Pike. Can he get out of here in time?
Yeah.
Looks like he's going to be able to escape before any Quail comes out.
They do force 2 TPs though, and they still get the tower, so this is still a great victory for Liquid. Now that Gaimin port down there, they're losing some efficiency out on the map, some of the farm that they could have got while just sacking that tower. They feel like they have to help out Quinn.
And of course, an opening here if they want to go for it. Roshan, very much available.
We see again now Meke going for the same item as last game, that Revenant's Brooch, which I believe you told me just before this game. All right, so Purge told you, who told me, that so the downside to Revenant's Brooch is that whenever it's activated, you lose 50 mana per attack. But Focus Fire, or excuse me, Whirlwind, doesn't work that way.
Right.
It doesn't count as attacks in the same fashion, so effectively you're firing out all of these shots with your Revenant's Brooch at 0 mana cost.
Pretty disgusting. And of course, with an Aegis in hand on Nisha, able to set that stuff up all the more easily. Now there is going to be a pipe, like we talked about, which will be a nice pickup for Gaimin. But the question is, are they going to be in too big of a hole to make it work at that point in time? I mean, the classic answer to this is like, oh, they're not going to be able to go high ground against us. But nobody goes high ground anyways now. So maybe they will end up doing it right now in Liquid, though.
It is. It is a real possibility that they just try to get it done here and now. I think it's kind of difficult for Gaimin to overwhelmingly win a fight. Maybe they can tie it or, you know, slow them down. But if you're the one taking initiative here, okay, wait a second. Quinn, onto iNsania.
Find one. Nisha's there too. And you can see they don't even feel confident going for it. Clockwork, never an easy kill, but particularly...
The tower is gone.
Wait, what?
He got the tower.
Drinking Buddy's Visage. Okay, that's a thing. That's a problem. They Drinking Buddy's Visage and the tower died. Oh my god.
Well, it does have 44 health left on it.
Time to deny, maybe? No?
I don't know. Very uncomfortable position here for the side of Gaimin. They really want to get this Muerta's BKB so that they can finally just stand in the fight and deliver, but it's still 3,000 gold to go here for the side of Gaimin on dyrachyo, and how do you get that space on the map? I think Liquid are just going to keep shoving in bottom really aggressively, and if you don't keep sending heroes back to defend, you lose barracks. If you do send heroes back to defend, it's hard to find farm. So if they just keep this aggression up, maybe one hero from Gaimin can try to find something out on the map, but if you put multiple out there, the lane is just over. So,
dude, they're gonna do it again. Look at this bird, how much damage it does. This is insane. This is like the Invoker Brewmaster stuff all over again.
Yep.
Wow, as if it wasn't already strong enough. Now taking, I mean, they're gonna have a Crimson Guard here, but it's basically a full melee rack's done. Unreal.
I don't really have familiars on my list of personal drinking buddies, but apparently they're great when you want to have a party. Just bring these birds and get the job done. All right, melee Rex down, no defense from the side of Gaimin. And once again, I'm looking toward dyrachyo to somehow salvage this game for Gaimin if they want to have any hope. The pipe from Ace is up somewhat soon. And that is a big deal for mitigating a lot of that damage coming out from the Liquid side. Puck as well as Windranger, largely magic damage.
I mean, that is going to be the question, right? Like, if you're able to mitigate the damage, will Muerta be able to survive long enough to do what they need? Nisha just jumps in and immediately starts to get brought down. He jumped in, he can't get the snowball off. Oh, the calling. Perfect answer to stop that Tusk from saving the puck. Now thinking about going for more. Can they chase down Nisha?
Nice
This is
Gleipnir.
a huge gift if Gaimin can find any more heroes at this point. After burning through the ages, they needed something.
Ace really wanted to pulverize there onto Nisha, but not possible. The cast time is too long. Puck, obviously, extremely short cast times. Will get out. They do keep... I mean, under these circumstances, this is already a really good result. Because that was a situation where Liquid, with one more good fight, probably just end the game. So they buy themselves some time, and this effectively will buy them at least one item. The pipe will be completed for the next fight. Mirana's BKB will be completed for the next fight. The Muerta BKB is a possibility for the next fight. He's only 1,500 off it now. So that one mistake, if you want to call it that, from Liquid, opens the door a little bit. They're still in a very, very good position, make no mistake, but it does feel like the types of fights that they've handily won the last 10 minutes are not going to be as guaranteed.
Right.
When a couple of items come out on game, and obviously they're still extremely favored, as you can see on the win probability, but a lot of the time that 10% really comes down to, do you have the right items to take the 10% fight or not? And those items are becoming available very soon for Gaimin, so potentially they could stall it out.
Right, and as you know, the panel talked about, as we've said multiple times during this as well, this is a lineup from Liquid that wants to be hitting hard right now. Gaimin, we're always trying to buy more time, so anytime you can do that, you're sort of playing into their strategy a little bit more. The question is, are they in too big of a hole at this point where they're no longer able to dig themselves out of it? And we'll have to wait and see. The pipe is done. Also did see a BKB completed on Mirana.
Yep.
So more ways to keep these heroes alive.
And she does deal quite a lot of damage. It's not insignificant how much damage a 4 Mirana deals with just the BKB. You pop the Solar Flare, you get 120 attack speed and damage, and then you just leap in and start killing people. The counterplay that Liquid have isn't 100% reliable against the BKB Mirana, so she will probably be able to output quite a bit more than she has so far in this game. On the side of Liquid, though, what big items do we have coming their way? So the Brooch was completed. Puck almost has a Parasma. Unless he wants to complete the Lincolns instead. He's got a little bit of everything, it seems like, right now on Nisha.
Yeah, a bunch of different
stuff. That's what is happening, actually, with his inventory.
Is he going Lincolns?
Yeah, but he doesn't have it in his quick buy. So he bought 2 components for Lincolns, but doesn't have it in quick buy. Now he is going Parasma.
Okay.
This is a little bit odd. It's almost like he changed his mind twice.
Just bought the wrong recipe. It's fine. It happens.
Didn't read the patch notes.
Well, we'll see. The courier now coming out to him. And, of course, the other thing to watch for is we saw that AC coming for... Yeah, he has it on... It was on the backpack of the courier.
He had a dead courier with that much gold in? Oh, my God. Okay. All right, he's a little bit richer than I was expecting. This wasn't even on my radar that he could have the completed Lincolns plus almost the completed Parasma. All right. That is very good news for Liquid. That is so much better than I was thinking. I mean, he is farmed, but, man... Witchblade, Parasma, Blink, as well as Lincolns will be completed in just a moment here now, 30 minutes in for Nisha with that dead courier respawning.
I mean, yeah, this is the scary thing, right? You're getting Crimsons, you're getting ACs and all that stuff, but you've got a Revenant's Brooch, you got Parasma. This is a magic damage lineup, and all you got is the pipe.
There it is.
This is This is a lot.
This is a sick upgrade with how much... If you think of the last fight that just played out, Nisha just got 2 major items leading into the next one. So, yeah, definitely keep a lookout for the puck to ramp up heavily in the coming fights.
DKB from Huerta too, but of course that blink stun from DK won't factor in anymore, but they get the jump on him instead. Misses on the hook shot, and dyrachyo standing tall. Now Nisha steps forward, knows that there's not much that can kill him. Do they have anything else that they want to throw out right now? There's the shackle shot. They need to keep that Huerta alive. Quinn trying to block damage, but it's not going to happen. Huerta's gone. Ace does not have what it takes to take down the rest of Liquid. They are way too strong, and they bought out for this fight. No buybacks, 4 dead. Liquid, they're ready, they're moving. This game is over.
It's just over.
Unreal.
Well, everybody gets their items, and Liquid say, we're better.
Can they do this now? The snowball onto the creeps. They're going to try and end this game right here and right now. Liquid taking the tier 4 tower down, has to jump away on Tofu. Arrows going down, but look at the Drinking Buddy Visage Birds. They're dropping so quickly. Tier 4s are gone. They're not even going to get to respond. Team Liquid closing this one out. GG!
Wow. I mean, a lot of people going into today would be like, oh,